The morning mist clung to the Karakoram peaks like ghostly fingers as Raza adjusted his weathered backpack and continued his ascent. 23 years of mountain rescue work had taught him to read the signs, the way shadows fell across rock faces, how the wind carried sounds from impossible distances, and most importantly, when something didn't belong. The cave mouth he discovered at 14,000 feet definitely didn't belong. It wasn't on any geological survey, wasn't marked on his topographical maps that he'd memorized over decades of climbing these peaks. The opening yawned dark and perfect, as if carved by intelligent design rather than millennia of wind and ice. Raza's radio crackled. "Base camp to Rescue 7, what's your position?" "About 2 clicks northeast of Checkpoint Delta," he replied, never taking his eyes off the cave. "Found something unusual up here." "Define unusual, Raza." That was when he heard it. A sound like wind chimes mixed with the purr of a great cat. It echoed from deep within the cave, melodic and utterly alien. His hand moved instinctively to the ice axe on his belt, though some deeper instinct told him it wouldn't be needed. "I'll call it in later," he said, switching off the radio. The cave stretched back farther than his headlamp could penetrate, but the strange sound grew stronger as he moved deeper inside. The walls were smooth, almost metallic, reflecting his light in patterns that seemed to shift and flow. His breath misted in the thin air, but oddly, the temperature seemed to be rising the deeper he went. Then he saw them. 3 creatures, each no larger than a house cat, huddled together in an alcove carved into the cave wall. They were unmistakably reptilian, covered in scales that shifted color like oil on water, deep purples, midnight blues, silver highlights that caught his headlamp beam. Wings translucent and delicate as butterfly wings but clearly functional, wrapped around their small bodies, their eyes large and multifaceted like jewels fixed on him with an intelligence that made his breath catch. Dragons. There was no other word for them. The largest of the 3 lifted its head and spoke, not with vocal cords but directly into Raza's mind, the words forming with crystalline clarity in Urdu, his native tongue. "You are the mountain guardian." Raza's hand trembled as he slowly lowered himself to a crouch, making himself less threatening. I rescue people in the mountains, yes." "We have waited. The others said humans would come, but we did not believe. Your species was supposed to be extinct." The word hit him like a physical blow. "Extinct? What do you mean extinct?" The second dragon, smaller and with more golden highlights in its scales, shifted closer to its sibling. "The hegemony told us. 300 of your years ago, they said the experiment had failed, that the warrior species of the 3rd planet had destroyed itself." "Hegemony?" Raza felt his mouth go dry. "Who is the hegemony?" The 3rd dragon, the smallest, made a sound like glass breaking. "The rulers. The ones who seed worlds with warrior races. They told us Earth was a failure, that humans had burned their own world and died out in nuclear fire." The cave seemed to spin around Raza. We had nuclear weapons, yes, but we didn't destroy ourselves. We're still here. 7 billion of us." All 3 dragons went perfectly still. The largest raised its head higher, and when it spoke again, Raza could feel something like hope mixed with terror in its mental voice. 7 billion? Still alive? Still fighting? "We fight, yes, but not just each other anymore. We fight disease, poverty, natural disasters. We save each other." He gestured to his rescue gear. "That's what I do." The golden-scaled dragon made a keening sound. Then the hegemony lied. They said Earth's warriors were dead so that we would accept our fate, so that we would not hope for rescue. Rescue from what? The largest dragon spread its wings slightly, revealing scars along the delicate membrane. "We are the children of Zephyria Prime. Our people have been enslaved by the hegemony for 7 centuries. They told us that Earth, the only world to ever resist them, was gone. That there was no point in rebellion." Raza's training kicked in, the same instincts that had saved dozens of lives in avalanches and storms. These weren't just alien creatures, they were refugees. Children, separated from their people, fed lies to break their spirit. "How did you get here?" he asked. "We escaped during a mining transfer. Our ship crashed in your mountains 3 days ago. We are dying. The cold, the thin air, the separation from our people's collective mind. But we had to try to reach Earth to see if the stories were true." The smallest dragon was clearly weakening, its scales losing their luster. "Raza made a decision that would change everything." For him, for humanity, for the galaxy. He reached into his pack and pulled out an emergency heat pack, cracking it to activate the chemical reaction. The dragon's eyes widened as warmth spread through the alcove. "You're not dying on my watch," he said firmly. "And you're going to tell me everything about this hegemony. Because if there's one thing humans are good at, it's fighting bullies." The largest dragon's mental voice carried something that might have been laughter. "The hegemony believes Earth's warriors are extinct. They have no idea what's coming." Raza smiled grimly as he activated his emergency beacon. Not for rescue, but for backup. "No," he agreed, thinking of his species' long history of standing up to impossible odds. "They really don't." Outside, the mountain wind carried his signal down to base camp, where Naz, the communications officer, would receive the strangest request for reinforcements in human history. But that was a problem for the hegemony to worry about. Humanity was very much alive, and they had just made some very powerful new friends.